or a pen and paper, or whatever it is you write on. If you're taking notes on your iPad, I assume you're texting, just so you know. So before I get started on our stuff today, I wanted to share an experience I had this past weekend. So we deal with sometimes discount brokers, right? Purple bricks, things like that, cutting commission, and we have objection handlers for them. But I want to give you a real life experience of a purple bricks agent. Okay, so my wife and I were looking to buy another property, and it's not in this area, so don't ask me. Okay, this is too far. We were looking to buy another property, and there was property was on the market. It was listed by Purple Bricks, and we reached out to the Purple Bricks agent. It took the agent a week to get back to us. A week to get back to us in order for us to go see the property. We go see the property. I priced it out. Price-wise was fine. Location, great location, right off Ventura Boulevard in Encino. Great location, this whole thing. And the property had still been on the market for 86 days. 86 days on market, great location, fine price, and everything like that. When we got to the property, the agent didn't even know anything about the property. We walk in and she goes, I think they had done some upgrades, but I'm not sure. And as we're walking around, she's like, oh yeah, I think maybe right here they might have done something. This is real. This is my real life experience working with a Purple Bricks agent. So the point of all that is you get what you pay for. So when you run into someone who's like, well, I'm thinking about introducing Purple Bricks, you could say, well, do I have a story for you? Because someone in my office ran into that, and this is the situation they ran into. So I just thought it was fascinating to deal with a real life someone working on this. And I asked the lady, I said, so, what have you done? She goes, well, I did one open house the first weekend. We got a couple offers, didn't like it, and haven't really done anything since. We've reduced the price twice. And that was it. It's just been sitting there. So just interesting stuff. All right, so we've been talking about run to the finish line, right? Neil's talking about run to the finish line, this 120-day challenge, things along those lines. So I wanted, okay, as soon as I learned to speak English, second language, of course, as I want to touch base a little bit on some of the run to the finish line ideas, and then I want to get into a little bit of some ideas on the shifting market. So the first thing I put down here on the run to the finish line is you need to shrink your time frame for when you need to have files in escrow. Shrink your time frame for when you need to have files in escrow. And here's what I mean. We have a goal of number of transactions we want to close at the end of the year, right? Yeah. But we need to have those transactions in escrow no later than December 1st. Now, I know there could be cash buyers and it might close in a week or things along those lines, but chances are it's going to at least be a 30-day escrow. So shrink your time frame. Instead of saying I have till December 31st to close these deals, I have till December 1st to get them in escrow. And here's the other thing about that. Write contracts that close no later than December 20th. Write contracts that close no later than December 20th. Now, that seems normal, okay, because we know the last 2 weeks are going to be a little slower, right? But here's the other thing. Christmas this year falls on a Tuesday, which is about the worst possible day of the year in sales for Christmas to fall on, okay? Because Tuesday's out. What do you think Monday's going to be like? Oh. Monday's out. Christmas Eve out. So you have Saturday and Sunday already out. Do you think there might be people that want to make this into a mini vacation and take Friday off as well?
Yeah.
Yeah, right? So now you have Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday's Christmas Eve, and Tuesday's Christmas. That week's going to be rough. Well, then guess what? A week later, New Year's Day falls on a Tuesday. So Tuesday's out. What do you think Monday's going to be like? It's going to be out. Saturday, Sunday, do you think other people might try to make this into a mini vacation and take Friday off, and so you have Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday? Of course. So the last 2 weeks of the year, it's going to be tough. It's going to be really tough getting people to work. It's already tough getting people to work the last 2 weeks here. Now those days, it's going to be, so we want to make sure we're writing contracts that close no later than December 20th. So that way we don't have to deal with this running around. And actually, hold on. Let me backtrack for a second here. I want to give everyone here a lot of credit because today's obviously a Jewish holiday, Rosh Hashanah, and I came in today with the expectation that this was going to be pretty low. Because in my experiences, real estate agents are every religion and every ethnicity, right? That's been my experience with real estate agents. Well, I'm not Jewish, but it's Rosh Hashanah, so I should probably take the day off, right? I'm Robert Hertel. I grew up in Altaloma, California, but I celebrate Chinese New Year, right? It's, so real estate agents are every ethnicity and every religion, but you all came in today, so I really appreciate that. Good job. So, but keep that in mind. The last 2 weeks here are going to be tough. The other thing here is you want to front load your December. And here's what I mean by front load your December. Because we know as the month goes on, it's going to be harder to get deals closed, attention spans are going to be waning, it's going to be harder to get people out to see property, get listing appointments, things like that. Really put a lot of emphasis on that first week in December. So my suggestion would be the first week of December to have at least one, maybe 2 ultimate prospecting days. Put that in the calendar that the first week of December I have to be working, and I should probably schedule 1 or 2 ultimate prospecting days because I got to really crank up that first week. I need to front load my December. So I wrote this down in terms of the market. If we don't hit our year-end goals, it's not because the money wasn't there, we just didn't do the things required to get it. If we don't hit our year-end goals, it's not because the money wasn't there, we just didn't do the things required to get it. There's opportunities there. So don't fall victim to well, it's the end of the year, and there's holidays, and there's all these other different things. It's the money's there. We just got to do the activity. So Neil laid out this 120-day challenge. Now, it looks overwhelming. It's a lot. But what's the alternative? To not do your job or to do your job. So just don't fight into that. The other thing here I put down is the market doesn't determine if we make our goals. The market determines what we have to do to make our goals. I understand the market's shifting a little bit in a lot of areas. It might be tougher and all these other different things. Don't let the market be the excuse if you don't hit your goals. The market just simply tells you what we have to do to hit our goals. We have to adapt. We have to do certain things a little bit differently, which we're going to get into next. But don't do that. And here's the third thing I'm going to put down here on the year-end goals. You have to be really strong. This might even be bigger than anything else. Be really strong to not let the naysayers bring you down. Because the participation level as we go forward for the rest of the year is going to go down quite a bit. In our office and a lot in other offices too. I mean, our estimation is that the participation level of real estate agents the last 4 months of the year goes down about 50%. That's our estimation. And you've seen it. You see the participation level. So they're going to be dragging you in. There's no business this time of year. You don't need to do all these. You have to be strong enough to say, that's you. If you don't want to make any money this time of year, you have that. I want to make money this time of year. So I'm going to go do the activities. And on top of that, if you want your first quarter to be crap again this year like it was last year, don't do anything the rest of the year. I want my first quarter to be set up. I want to start 2019 with 3 listings in my pipeline, but I need to do the activities the last few months to do that. Don't let the naysayers bring you down. It's going to start to happen in the last few months. Okay? It's really, really important. Now, it's our job as a company to annoyingly try to motivate you. And I get it. It's annoying sometimes, right? You get a voicemail at 7 a.m. Monday through Friday. Hey, it's Neil. All right, let's do this, all right? And some of you go, all right, yeah. You got me running around, being loud and obnoxious and all these other different things. And you look at me sometimes like, he's nuts. And you know what? You're probably not far off, okay? But it's annoying on how energetic and positive we are. It's only going to get worse these last few months because we have to constantly motivate you. That's part of our job. So, but don't let the naysayers be naysayers. Let the negative people be negative people. That's fine. There's money out there to be made. Go get it. Okay? So I want to talk a little bit about the market. Right? A couple things in terms of a shifting market. So we're seeing in our market a lot of pushback on pricing, right? Yeah. Kind of a lot of what we're seeing. So here's a couple thoughts I had on that. So we know interest rates are going up. Okay? Interest rates going up, that caused a little bit of pushback. Foreign money drying up a little bit. So the stat was 2 years ago, 2016, there was $18 billion that came into California from international residential real estate purchases. $18 billion. We're on pace this year to have that cut down to $10 billion. So now $10 billion is still a big number, but it's cut almost in half, international money. And so we're losing a little bit of those buyers, plus the international buyers just throw money. They don't really negotiate, right? You know, it's just like, how much is it? $1 million. Great, I'll pay 1.2. So we're losing a little bit of that foreign money that's coming in. So that's drying up a little bit. Okay, it's too expensive to move. Where am I going to go next? Because I bought this house when it was $300,000, and even though it's $700,000 now, I'm paying taxes as if it was only $400,000. Well, if I move, now I got to pay more taxes and all these other different things. But the other part of that is everything people read or hear is bad. Everything's bad. Well, you read the news, it's too expensive, the interest rates are going up, you know, the market's this, the economy's that, all these other different things. Everything they read is bad, so nobody knows what to do. Take your politics out of it. Overall, economy's doing pretty well. Stock market's up, unemployment's down, incomes are up, overall doing pretty well. It's our job to express to people the excitement and the opportunity. So one thing I put down here, in a shifting market, we have to crank up the excitement and the energy. Because they all read everything bad. So it's morose, it's dark. Right? We have to be the ones, wow, what a great opportunity. Oh, you want to sell your house? Fantastic. We can get all these buyers in here, we can sell it for market price or above. You want to buy a house? Great. Interest rates are going up, still get it while it's lower. You know, got a lot of good inventory out there. We have to crank up the energy because everything else they read is bad. So you have to really crank that up. Okay, but that's why we're getting a little bit different on the pricing. So here's a couple things that I think could help us in terms of the pricing a little bit. Where do buyers look for properties? Online. They look online. Okay? Where do real estate agents, not you, look for properties? Online, right? They're not previewing properties the way you are, right? Yes, we're previewing properties, right? Your noses are growing, some of you, right? That's as Neil would say. So buyers are looking online. Agents are looking online. How does your house differentiate from the other houses on the market? It comes down to price. Price and professional photos. Because your description doesn't do anything because every home is upgraded or remodeled. Even if they just painted the tree. Right? We painted the tree. It's upgraded. I don't know about that, right? You know? Every home is upgraded or remodeled. You see it. So a buyer sees a property, 3 bedrooms, 2 bathrooms in the city of Walnut, upgraded, remodeled, fantastic, great. One's for $600,000, one's for $590,000. Well, great, we'll just go see the one for $590,000, even though you know your $600,000 property is much better than the $591,000. They don't know that. And the agent doesn't know that because they're not seeing the property, so they go, great, let's go see the $591,000. Pricing is really, really important right now because everyone's shopping online and every house says upgraded or remodeled. Every single one. I did this. I don't know if I did this. No, I would not have done this, but in this office. But I did it in Long Beach and Arcadia, where I do the other lunch and learns there. I went to the MLS and I just took the first listing at 300,000, 600,000, 900,000, and 1.2 million. Very first listing in the MLS on those 4 random price points in Long Beach and Arcadia, every single one of them had the words upgraded or remodeled in it. Every single one. So there's no difference. So pricing gets the people in to then drive up the price. So in a shifting market a little bit, the idea of, well, we'll list here and then we'll do the price reductions, we're not going to get it. You have to start it a little bit lower and get it brought up. Does that make sense? Mm-hmm. Am I making sense on that? Okay, great. It's really good. So I'll share a win with you that we actually had doing this. Property was listed at $515,000. We weren't getting any offers. Property was worth about $510,000, $515,000, but we weren't getting any offers at $515,000. We lowered the price down to $500,000. It was only $15,000. We lowered the price down to $500,000. 2 days later, we opened up escrow at $515,000. Because we brought the price down, and all of a sudden, the people saw online, ooh, $500,000. Now, all of a sudden, we got multiple offers. We brought the price back up to $515,000. Couldn't get it at $515,000, but $500,000 to $515,000 worked. Pricing is really, really important in a market like this. Okay, so you got to be more on top of that. Okay? And get professional photographers. Because the one thing you can't have is the photo of the person taking a picture and you can see the reflection in the mirror. Right? We all see that person. Right? And you've seen that photo. That's what buyers are looking at. So get the professional photos. Just get it done. Or you see the thumb? Yeah, you see that? I saw one, like I said, we were looking at properties. And even I'm totally guilty of looking online. Right? So we saw one yesterday and the pictures were blurry. Like literally blurry pictures. And I go, ah, God, what this is what people are doing. It's amazing.
They didn't pay the photographer.
They didn't pay the, yeah. They didn't pay the photographer that well, you know. I get it. Our phones are really cool and got some really cool features that could take some good photos and the selfies and all that other stuff. For a $15,000 payday, pay $200 to have a professional go out and do it. Okay? If you're confident it's going to sell, just pay the money. Let them go out there and do it. It doesn't cost that much. All right? Pay the professional photos. So, a couple things I put down here in terms of a shifting market. I wrote this down. We need to reset our mindset that it may take longer to sell. Reset our mindset that it may take longer to sell. So here's what I put down on that. Plan your finances accordingly. Longer days on market, plan your finances accordingly. We've been in a market the last few years where a property gets listed and it gets sold right away, right? So in our mind is, I got a listing, I'm getting paid in 30 days. Which is great. And because we're in sales, and I'm just as guilty of this, the money is spent as soon as the listing's taken. Right? All right, it's 15 grand. That listing's going to go on the market. Well, I know this much is going to savings, and this is going to pay this off, and this is going to vacation. The money is spent. Longer days on market, we need to plan our finances accordingly because we might not get paid in 30 days. We might not get paid in 60 days. And the rent is still due. The mortgage is still due. The credit cards are still due in 30 days. Plan your finances accordingly with longer days on market. Second thing I wrote down here is reset your mindset is don't get frustrated. Easy to get frustrated when things take longer, right? Yes, okay? Because we want instant. We want instant. You know, we're the Netflix world. We want to just sit down and get our movie instantly, get our TV show instantly, next episode, no commercials instantly. I want fast food, fast service. We have nowhere to go, but we're always in a rush. It's amazing, right? But that's the way we live. Don't get frustrated. It's going to take longer to sell. Don't get frustrated that instead of 60 days, or instead of 30 days, it might take 60 days. Part of the process. Because if you get frustrated, what's the seller going to do? This equal or more? More. Your frustration level is an 8, theirs is 15 then. Because we're supposed to be the calming force in a transaction. So if you show frustration to them, oh boy, panic mode is going to set in for the seller. Right? And are they going to have more trust or less trust in you? Less. Because you're panicked. Don't get frustrated. All right, third thing I wrote down here is prepare the seller up front. That it could take longer days on market. Because what have they heard for the last 5 or 6 years?
Good market.
It's a hot market. I've sold the home and it took me only 3 days. 3 days on market. Sold it in a week. Over asking price. So they think that you should get it done. They don't know that because not everyone is like you or like our company where we're talking about the shifting market. Everyone else is still talking about how hot the market is. So the seller still thinks the market is really hot and homes are going to sell like that. You have to prepare them up front that it could take longer to sell. So they don't get frustrated at you. They understand. Plus, it helps you prepare for a possible price reduction down the road. That you've prepared them up front. Okay? So don't overpromise. Okay? You have to prepare them up front. And the fourth thing I put down here is you need to have more deals in the pipeline. In a shifting market, longer days on market, you have to have more deals in the pipeline. So a couple things to that point is you need to stay on schedule and prospect. Stay on schedule and prospect. To get more deals in the pipeline, you have to stay on schedule and prospect. And when I talk about staying on schedule, I mean don't jump to the dramatic. Write that down. Don't jump to the dramatic. Not everything takes all day. One of our guiltiest things as agents is that one thing in our mind jumps to the dramatic and it takes us all day. Well, I couldn't prospect today. Why not? Well, I had to drive all the way to Rowland Heights because I had to unlock the door for an inspector to go in there and inspect the property. And then after they left, I had to let them out and lock the door and then drive all the way back to Walnut. And there's construction on Fairway, so you know how long that's going to take. So there's no possible way I could have prospected today. And I'm like, that was like 30 minutes. No, that's my day. That's my day, right? It's too jump to, well, I got this listing, and I gotta prepare my listing, and I gotta do this. I'm like, well, what do you mean prepare your listing? You gotta put it in the MLS? Okay, so what are you doing after that half hour's over? Don't jump to the dramatic. Not everything takes all day. Stay on schedule, prospect, preview, present. If you stay on schedule, you can get all these things done. And here's the other thing that has recently, I'm not gonna lie to you, because, you know, we're in a safe place here, right? Guess not. Moving on. The other thing that's driving me crazy, okay, can I share with you?
Yeah.
Just because you took a listing that's far away doesn't give you the excuse that that's your day. Okay, I run into this situation recently. Well, I had to drive, you know, because I took a listing up in Victorville that I had to drive to Victorville, which was 2 hours, service the open house, and then drive back. That was my day. That's not an excuse. You took the listing up there, okay, that's fine. That means you leave earlier, you come back, you have to stay later. Driving does not give you the excuse to not get your stuff done. Okay? I've run into that a few times recently. Okay, that's not an excuse. You want to take a listing that's far, that's up to you. But you still have to get your stuff done. Let me remind you, this is Southern California. 2 miles sometimes takes 2 hours. Okay, so before you take that listing that's 35 miles away, understand that you might be spending a couple nights up there, okay? Because that traffic doesn't lighten up, all right? So there's no excuse for that, okay? The other thing I put down here is you need to incorporate financial accountability or something similar. To stay on track, to get more prospecting, to fill your pipeline, which you need in a shifting market, you need more accountability, and some of that I think should be financial. Because we let ourselves off the hook too often. We will look in the mirror and say, that's okay. But then there's money involved, and all of a sudden, we're going to do what we want to do, right? Because nobody wants to lose money. And I don't want to hear nothing. I don't want to hear anything that you're not money motivated. I don't believe that. Okay? I'm not money motivated. Give me the money. On your next commission, give it to me. All right? I don't do this for the money. Great. Your next commission, give it to me. Because I'll take it. And the only person who will be more excited than that will be my wife. She really wants you to not be money motivated and give us the commission. We are big fans. Okay? It'll be a good day in the Hertel household. I say, honey, I got a $15,000 payday. What'd you do? I don't know. They weren't money motivated. So, it worked out for us. Right? I just simply asked for the business. So, have some sort of financial accountability. Now, so to give you an example, we have a group of agents that as part of the write out the script every day, there's a group of them. If they don't write out a script every day, they owe the group $10. And at the end of the day, they have to take a picture of it and things along those lines. Now, it's only $10, but one of our agents missed it one day, and he had to pay the $10. He goes, I'm not paying the $10 again. It's $10, but it happens. We have some people that are $100, $500. We have one agent who writes out a check every week for $500 made out to his ex-wife. And he gives it to his accountability partner. He says, if I don't do my task, you get to give this check to my ex-wife. And as you can imagine, he does not want to give his ex-wife any more money. So he is on his task. Some of you are looking at me going, holy crap. No way am I doing that, right? But that's the kind of accountability. Or maybe it's not money, but maybe it's doing something uncomfortable. We have another agent who she has a list of accountabilities she has to do, and if she doesn't do them, she has to sign up to do a mud run. And if you ever met this agent, you could never picture her in a mud run. Okay? Not because she's a female. That's not it at all. You could just never picture this agent in a mud run. But that's her accountability. It's uncomfortable, so she does it. You need to increase the level of accountability to do something uncomfortable. Hold yourself accountable in this type of market, especially these last few months. Okay? All right, so I wrote down here a couple potential targets in a declining market, shifting market. So what do you think's a good target in a shifting market? What do you think?
I have to.
What?
They have to.
The have-tos. Number one is a have-tos. So figure out if they're a have-to. What's a have-to?
Death,
Death,
unemployment,
unemployment,
Can't afford the house.
can't afford the house,
divorce,
divorce. Are you catching a trend here?
Life event.
What's that?
Life event.
Life events. But what kind of life events?
Urgent.
Bad. Here's an honest truth that you have to come to grips with. We profit the most when people are at their worst. It's an honest truth. What did we just... I didn't name them off. You did. Death, divorce, unemployment, can't afford the house, bankruptcy, foreclosure, all these things. It's all bad. But we profit. Those are have to sells. So you need to be comfortable with uncomfortable conversations. That's the key to this type of thing. Get comfortable with having uncomfortable conversations. Because these are not fun conversations. Nobody goes to see their doctor when it's good. Right? Hey doc, I'm doing perfectly fine, but go ahead and shoot me up with something. You know? Let me get some, no. Doc, I got cancer, I need to survive. Nobody goes to their lawyer with no particular reason whatsoever. Hey, let's just go to court and just see what happens. For what? I don't know. You know? No, it's like, I need the freedom. I need you right now. So we're not alone. And do doctors and lawyers, do they discount their fee because they're in a dire situation? No, what do?
they go up.
They crank it up. You go to a lawyer and you go, my freedom's on the line. They're going, wow, my retainer fee is so much higher for you. You know? You go to a doctor and, doctor, I need cancer treatment. Whew. Man, you ever paid some cancer bills? Man, those are not cheap. You go in just for a cough, it's like, here, take some medicine, get the hell out of here. Just pay your copay and go, right? So we have to be comfortable having uncomfortable conversations. Have to sells. Okay, that's just the way it is. What else? What else are other good sources in a shifting market? What do you think? Some of you call them all the time. Expireds, for sale by owners. So I wrote this down on for sale by owners. Is it harder right now compared to the last couple of years? Is it harder for us to get properties sold?
Yes.
Yes, say yes.
Yes.
Okay, everybody say yes.
Yes.
Okay, want to make sure you're still awake, right? Bless you. If it's harder for us, what's a for sale by owner going through?
Worse.
Worse, right? If it's hard for us, what chance do they have? So we need to have that conversation with them because they still think it's a year ago where they can just list their property at a reasonable price and it's going to fly off the market. We know differently. So there's a question in there, are you prepared to adjust your price down when working with a buyer? Might be a really good question to ask because they might actually have to do that. Are you prepared for that? Are you prepared for the longer days of market? For sale by owners, great opportunity. Right? Expireds. Let me get to expireds in a second. Another one I put down here is for rent by owner or investors. General concept of investing, buy low and sell what?
High.
High. Buy low, sell high. General concept of investing. Well, a couple of years ago, they bought low. We're in a shifting market, so what should they do now?
Sell.
Sell high. General idea of investing. Mr. Investor, you bought your property a couple of years ago, you got it at a really great price. Your idea of investing is buy low, sell high, right? Right, great. Well, now's your high. Now might be a really good time to cash out. Investors, great opportunities, buy low, sell high. So Neil always talks about the for rent by owners. Contact the for rent by owners. There's 3 wins with for rent by owners. Okay, so I want you to understand this. You call a for rent by owner. Hey, I just want to let you know I'm working with a lot of landlords, don't necessarily want to deal with the tenants anymore. Want to know if you're interested in cashing out on this property. There's number 1. No, I love the rental income. Great. Well, how about this? If you love the rental income so much, why don't we sell this property, take the equity and put that towards units? So instead of 1 rental income, you get 2, 3, or 4. Wouldn't that be better? So there's number 2. No, I don't want to sell this property, don't want to do anything. Great. Well, you probably own some additional property, at least your primary residence. Is there any other properties you might be interested in buying or selling? There's 3 opportunities with every for rent by owner. So if you contact 10 for rent by owners, that's 30 opportunities. Some good opportunities there with for rent by owners. Okay? Good opportunities. Okay? People looking to downsize. Also a good target in a declining market. Because it's the opposite of what we talk about of I want to wait till my home's worth more. So let's say this. Let's say an $800,000 home goes down 2% in value. That means it loses $16,000, right? You with me? So is it fair to assume a $500,000 property would go down 2%? So that one loses $10,000 in value. So Mr. and Mrs. Seller, you're going to lose $16,000 in value and you're only going to gain $10,000 on the purchase. You just lost $6,000 net. Wouldn't it be better to sell now before prices go down anymore? Yep, great. So people looking to downsize, great opportunities in a shifting market. And then the last thing I put down here is expireds. There's going to be more expireds. Some of you have already seen it. Have you seen that there's more expireds out there? Mm-hmm. Right? Yeah. Okay. The nice thing about it's not that there's just more expireds. Some of them might actually be motivated. Because in the last couple of years, if a home expired, what were the chances that that was a motivated seller? Probably not very high, right? I mean, people were buying properties way above ask price and things along those lines. So if your property expired, there's probably something wrong with the property. Now it might have expired just because the agent didn't account for the shifting market. So there might be some motivation there. But I want to say this on expireds. Here's my thought. Here's my thought on the expireds. I wouldn't call the expireds until I had the script and the objection handlers down cold. Because there are too many people calling them for you to and ah your way through the script. Just too many. You can and ah your way through a just listed, just sold and maybe get a deal, right? I can't remember if it was Mike or Neil that said that if you just stood out in the corner with a sign that says, do you want to buy real estate? Somebody eventually will pull over and ask you about it. Doesn't require any skill. Expireds required skill. Expireds require skill. Okay? So you need to know the scripts and objection. So Eric Thomas is a motivational speaker. He talks about if when God's pulling you back, just let him do it, because the farther he pulls you back, once he lets you go. I have the same philosophy on expired listings. You want to keep going forward, and I'm saying treat it like a bow and arrow. Let me pull you back. Let me pull you back. Learn the scripts and objection handlers first. No, I want to go forward. No, hold on, let me pull you back. Let me pull you back farther and farther so you get the scripts, you get the objection handlers, you know how to do it. So when you're finally ready to go and it clicks, boom! You're there, you're calling, you're professional, you know everything inside and out. So when that expired gets you on the phone, they go, that's a professional. That's the kind of person I want to list my property. They were so much better than the 20 other people that called that were umming and ahhing and nonsensing their way through. So don't be in such a rush. There's always going to be more expireds, I promise you. Don't rush to get the ones today. Pull back. Get the scripts, get the objection handlers. That's how you're going to get it. Okay, does that make sense? Do that. And look, if you don't believe me, because you just don't believe me, that's fine, right? If you don't believe me, look at your pipeline and see how many expireds have I closed in the last couple years. For some of you, it's going to be shocking, because it might be 1, might be 2, might be 3, might be 4. And how much time am I spending calling them?
A lot.
A lot. Because I get this. What are you doing today? Well, I'm going to get in the office and call the expireds. Before I hear past clients, before I hear centers of influence, before I say prospect around my listing, I'm calling the expireds. How many have you closed in the last couple of years? I'll bet it's probably because you don't know the scripts and dialogues good enough. You may think you know them really good, but you need to know them better. So don't be in such a rush. Pull back. And then when you're ready to go, you're just going to take off. And take off. But you probably won't do that, so we'll move on to something else. All right, does that make sense, though?
Yes.
Does that make sense? Okay, so pull back on that, all right? The last thing I want to put down here in terms of shifting market is lead follow-up. I don't care what word you want to put in front of it. Tenacious, aggressive, relentless, whatever, but you need to put that word in front of your lead follow-up. And you need to crank up the intensity. I'm talking every day. Move them forward or move them out, one way or the other. You have a lead, let's get them. Let's move them. No more, well, I'm waiting. The maybes. Get them out every day. If you think that's too pushy, deal with it. Because they're going to do something. I wanted them to do it with me. I'd rather lose a deal because I annoyed them by calling them so much than a deal because I didn't call them enough. I'll take 100 people that say, don't ever call me again, you call me too much. As opposed to, oh, I just listed my property. Oh, God. Ooh. You want to see steam come out of my head on a coaching call, right? Oh, I lost a deal. What happened? Well, they said I didn't follow up enough. Man, right? Tenacious. Call them every day until you move them along, right? That's the big thing. Because here's the last thought I'm going to share with you. Once the person has an idea of selling their house, the smallest thing can set them off. Smallest thing. I'm thinking about selling, but I might want to wait. The next day, something happens. They've got 2 kids, and the 2 kids start fighting in their room. They go, we need a bigger house. It happens. I'm thinking about selling, but I want to wait. Next day, someone breaks into their car on their street. We got to move. New neighbors move in next door. They're really loud, really obnoxious. We got to move. Smallest thing, and they're going to list with whoever's in front of them. Be in front of them. All right? And then I'm going to close up with this. Year-end goals. Christmas is one day. Remember that.
One day.
Christmas is one day. I'm preparing you now. Months ahead of time. I do not want to hear on December 1st that you can't work because Christmas is around the corner. I don't want to hear it. I know it's not for a few months, but I'm preparing you now because I've been doing this for 12 years and I hear it every year. So I'm just going to get ahead of it now. It's one day.
Got it.
You get that day off.
Yep.
Okay?
Can we use
Not-
that script to our sellers?
Yeah, not the month. All right? But look, a lot of great opportunities out there. Your competition's dying down. Let's get after it. Let's get aggressive. Let's go for it. And let's have a great week. I'll talk to you guys later.
Are we going to have a script?
Dave, are you doing a class?
Yeah, we'll be doing a class in 5 minutes in the conference room, everybody.
All right, good
Okay.
stuff. Dave classes are always great.
So we'll get started in a couple minutes.
Objection handling 5 minutes. Or is it objections, Dave?
We're going to be working on personality styles on how to use them when you're dealing with the objection.
Personality styles. Everybody needs that. Everybody should be in that class.